have Kade Elmer. Kade is a young man who just started a business over, I think you're in St Croix Falls?
Yeah.
In St Croix Falls, doing what we do in our museums, but he has the equipment and can do a really, really good job. I'll let him.
So I have a company called Cosmic Light Media in St Croix Falls. I'm in the building connected to Poco Loco, if you know where that is. I started my business a few years ago doing videography service, but it wasn't too rewarding. I enjoy the creative side of things, and when it's like client videography business. So 2 years ago I was given a box of tapes that were Betamax and VHS, and the collection was sent from Japan to the United States to a woman that was living in Minnesota. And she passed away, her son gave her tapes to me, and I've been holding on to them, trying to get the proper hardware to put them on the computer. And when it comes to that digitization, you want to have like the best possible hardware for the job, so you get like the most direct results from the magnetic media. The issue with VHS and Betamax and formats like that is there are two issues actually. One is called sticky shed syndrome, and that's where tape stored in high humid environments, they leach the chemical in the tape, and it like binds to itself, and it makes the tape sticky, and it like ruins the tape as you try and play it through your VCR. And another issue is mold that you will get on the tape, and I have a machine just for cleaning mold. It's perfect for the job. So now I've been digitizing tapes for this museum. John, I spoke with him, and he was showing me the videos that he was able to digitize, and he's using like mid-grade hardware for it. And there's this box of tapes, there's 11 tapes in here that he was not able to even get a signal onto his screen. And I brought the tapes to my office, or he brought them actually, but I was able to get all 11 tapes digitized and in pretty good shape. And John was really happy to see the results. I got a copy for him like while he was at my office for his Parent Ojibwe project. And so this is a very rewarding profession. Like I just got done digitizing 28 tapes for a personal collection. Wow. And I put them on YouTube, and in the past like 4 days it's got over 9,000 views. And it's awesome to give people that feeling of nostalgia and showing people like things they only have memories of now. So gotta check my notes. All right, so I know that a lot of you have like your own digitization workstations, but I'm not trying to brag, but I think mine's a little bit better. A lot of times people, when they're digitizing media, they'll just use like a cheap composite that's like the yellow, red, and white cables. They'll just use like a cheap composite to USB converter, and you'll get a lot of missing information, and like it won't be as crisp and pristine as like a copy that I'd be able to get with the hardware that I have. I have professional grade VCRs that cost me a lot of money, and they have things in them called time-based correctors, and they take the sync signal that's inherent in a VHS tape or Betamax, and it's actually able to stabilize that signal so it'll play very like what would otherwise be an unplayable video file like what John had. So I use a thing called a frame synchronizer, and that further stabilizes the signal just like one step further, and the end result is like a very crisp video file. And so for museum purposes, I would be delivering two different types of files. One is called lossless, and that means that it's not compressed at all. You just have the raw information, and there's no compression. It's just preserved in its entirety, and that's like the master file. And then you have the archival files, which are going to be much smaller in size, and those will be the sizes that you can put on a USB stick to hand off to people. people, or just play off a computer more easily than like the much larger master copy. Okay, so I'm also able to help with grant support. If I'll be able to give you guys technical specs for what I'll be doing and what I will deliver, and I'll be able to deliver a standardized budget breakdown for you for your grant proposals. Yeah, and then on your sheet, I have a QR code. If you want to scan that with your phone, whenever, you don't have to do it now, that'll take you to my company's YouTube channel, where I have a video showing before and after videos going through standard definition workflows, and then like my much higher definition workflow. And it's got all the information there. If you'll notice on the YouTube video, the voice is different from mine. I use AI to narrate it for me because I'm not that great at reading, so I'm kind of dyslexic that way. But so hopefully you're not anti-AI in that way. Yeah, that's all I have for you. If you guys have any questions for me.
Do you do newspaper reels?
I can do like film reels and microfiche, things like that. I don't do them at my office. Those things require like a significant investment. So most workhouses, like doing what I do, they send that out to be done elsewhere. So with the Amory Museum, I just got numbers for them for their microfilm. And what we were going to do is have this company scan their microfilm, but the company, as an added service, they do what's called OCR, which is optical character recognition, and metadata entry, things like that. But I was going to do that myself and save museum money by streamlining with like AI on my computer. But the Amory Museum said it's just not in their budget right now, so they're going to get back to me in the future. So. But they do have VHS tapes, and I'm hoping that they'll get them digitized before the time to do so is expired. Yeah, that's the one thing that I didn't bring up. So magnetic media like VHS and Betamax, they were only made with like a 30-year lifespan. And we're like reaching that window where some of those tapes are past 30 years. I just digitized a 1996 tape today, and it was kind of rough, but like the video file is playable and you can make out everything you find. There's just like the occasional wobbly line or scrambled scene here and there. But the archive tapes that you guys have at your museums, like the VHS tapes and Betamax, like they're actively expiring, even if they're like the most pristine.
How much does it cost for a VHS tape?
It'll be like $30 per tape, and then I do like discounts for bulk orders, and then there's like a $30 flat fee for like the USB delivery.
Okay.
But yes.
8mm film.
So yeah, that's what John had on his tapes, and the way that they had them done with this was they shot the 8mm or projected it onto a wall, and then they recorded the wall with a VCR camcorder. So that's not the right way to do it, but so with 8mm, I'd be sending that out to a place in Chicago. They would be doing the scanning, but then I'd be doing like the color grading and the archiving, metadata, stuff like that.
What about tapes that have no restrictions?
Copy restrictions? It depends. I should be able to get around that. I have a device that will, I guess.
Oh.
So when he's talking about John's tapes, it's actually the Pioneer Villages tapes.
Yeah.
And we had like 350, and John Mitchell has some equipment for this and was able to convert most of them. We had talked to a company out in California, and it was going to be kind of cost prohibitive, over $3,000 to convert them.
Yeah.
So then John did that, and then there were some that John couldn't get, and that's the ones that Kade has there in the box that he was able to recapture that. We thought they were garbage and we were going to throw them out, and he was able to save that. So if you're in that situation, don't throw them out until you talk to Kade.
So Kade, on the microfiche, you send it to the company.
Yeah.
And you get it back, and you
Yep.
Do we have to also pay the company for what they've done?
There's, that's a part, that'd be itemized, yeah, you'd pay for the customer or the company to do their scan. They have like a $10,000 machine for scanning the film like that.
Okay.
So they'd
And
send,
what do you do once you get it back?
yeah, they would send me the scans, and then I would use software that does like the OCR stuff, so you could select the text, and then I'd do the metadata for that, and save hopefully a lot of money in the meantime, because I know
So-
those companies, they provide that service, but they also charge a decent amount for it.
In our consortium, Grantsburg has that expensive machine to do microfilms. They said the problem is it isn't automatic. You can't just put it in because the machine isn't smart enough to do you're doing newspapers. It isn't smart enough to automatically find the pages, so they actually go through it frame by frame. That's why it's taking them long. The Obsolete Media Lab at Cushing bought with the grant funds from the mini grants an 8mm film digitizer that's several $100s too. That goes frame by frame through 8mm or Super 8mm ones. And those are all available to you folks if you want to use them. And we do audio tapes, VHS tapes. We don't do Betamax, but we don't have the high quality one that he's talking about. We have the inexpensive one.
Yeah, mine cost me like way too much, but
Yeah, I know they're,
it's worth,
but they do a lot nicer job. But depends on how much information is on those. You know, we did a bunch that were in the Amory area for the county museum, and they're on YouTube, of some people driving around the Volga
Yeah,
area.
we've got the CDs of that,
Yeah.
but they're noisy, you hear the wind and all that.
Yeah, well, they came from a VHS tape, and then the county museum had a copy, and so then we ran those through, and then we put them on the county's YouTube channel.
Oh, another service that I do offer is now like modern computers don't have optical drives, so CD-ROMs and DVD drives don't
Right.
exist anymore. So if you have a collection that is on an optical disc like that, I can rip that and make an archive for you and help process metadata and stuff
And
for
what do you
that.
put it, you put it on a thumb drive, or you put it?
I could put on a thumb drive or upload it to a cloud for you to download.
How about a 5 1/4" floppy?
I have a reader for that.
For a 5 1/4, not
Not the 3.5,
big
but
one.
the 5 and a half.
So those CDs that we have, you take all the noise out of there.
I run it through enhancer, and I do the best job as I could, but like depending on the
Yeah,
quality of the
exactly.
results, yeah.
Diana Gary are from the Amory.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know you talked to Cynthia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you sent in those reels to the, another company, and you're gonna do this part, so what do they charge for their piece?
I got a quote, I'd have to look at the email.
I think when I've looked, $80 at least per reel.
We've got like, back to 1897.
Yeah, that's where I'd help, it's like the grant proposal and stuff,
Okay.
try to get the funds for that.
And another point on that, if you want to ship it to some company you don't know in Michigan and hope it gets back to you, that's
No,
another
I'm not
question.
doing that.
I've been to his studio, it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice setup.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I wish I had.
Doing that, I want a middleman that knows what the hell they're doing.
Well,
Yeah.
I like the idea that he could help with grant writing,
Right.
not the writing, but the stuff you need to put in the grant, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So that's all I have, so.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.